Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stand Up Speakeasy. I'm your host, Sarath Nay, and every episode I bring on a guest from the Central Time Zone, and eventually I'll branch out to other time zones. For this episode, I have a comic from Chicago, and his name is Ty Riggs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Ty Riggs. Hey, Ty, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, and I'm looking forward to interviewing you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, indeed. So you have an edgy and unorthodox style of stand-up comedy, and how did you find your voice so early in as a stand-up comic in that form and fashion?
Well, I started doing comedy like around 25. Yeah, around 25, 24 years old. So I had already experienced a little bit of life, and I'm also like, a, my mind's different. My thoughts go in a different place. What's regular or what's like funny to me isn't like the regular funny to other people. Like it's not like offensive, but it's kind of like straightforward from a different direction with different themes based on like how I grew up and what I dealt with.
Indeed, most definitely. And you have no problem putting you in your shoes and having people see the world the way that you see it, which is pretty awesome. And that's like my favorite kind of comic because then, everyone else can be all topical, but if you can put us in your shoes, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's actually the point because when I've listened to other people's comedy, it's always topical and it's always the same thing. It starts off the same. It might end differently, but it's all the same at one point. So it's like, okay, can you surprise me? Can you tell me something about you? Really, you're just it's not. It's like people are reading off of a news article or something they've seen on TV, which everybody's already talked about. The topic is already beaten dead, so there's no point in like hearing it anymore. To me personally.
Indeed, and I like how you give people a journey through like your like a tour of your world, and that's how I do my stand up. Is like I take everyone from like when I was 15 years old all the way up until now, and then they're like, oh my gosh, you took us around the world and got dirty with it. So it's pretty neat that you can do that too. It's pretty awesome, and I can't wait to see that perform live because I plan on going to Chicago in October, so hopefully I can catch you at a show when everything opens up again. That'd be
Oh
pretty
yeah.
awesome. Indeed. So you joke about everything from politics to relationships, and you have something to say about everything. And so you've probably seen a lot about politics and relationships. I know that like Chicago's a very like political town. So where did all that come from?
I'm not a very political person, so when I do hear things about politics, I kind of like just poke fun at it differently than everybody else. Everybody wants to be like opinionated, like, yeah, this is supposed to happen, this is not supposed to happen. I All I know about politics is what I heard on Schoolhouse Rock. So when I see what's going on in reality, I just I'll pick at it from a perspective of neutrality. And then with relationships, like I've been through a few. I mean, as everybody has, and not everybody's experience is the same. So I'll kind of like poke fun at it from my perspective. It's like not. I try to be not offensive, but not relatable at the same time.
Indeed, most definitely. And so you kill all over all in all the stages that you perform on. And what are some of your favorite stages that you performed on in like Chicago and the rest of the country?
My favorite stages, I would have to say the Revival Theater in Chicago and Kansas City had a pretty good venue.
Awesome, great stuff. And you also do Zoom shows, and people can't mistake you because of your hair and your voice. And so, what have like the Zoom shows been like for you since all this has happened?
It's different. I like some of them because they have the crowd unmuted, so you can kind of hear what they say. Sometimes they don't even notice that they're like talking.
Indeed,
Yeah, so like it's not like a conversation, but when they laugh about a certain joke or when they repeat it because it's so like it's crazy when they heard it, it's like, oh wow, you said that. you can hear that, but you kind of power through it as if you're on stage, which is good. Other ones, it's like complete silence, and I have to go by the facial expressions of the crowd, or just it's a way to get that out. It might not be the best because comics are like, oh, I'm not doing no Zoom shows. That's I'm like, it's the future. It might be a hybrid now where stage shows and Zoom shows might end up being all in one package. So you might as well get with it or get lost. Shoot.
Indeed. I've done two Zoom shows, and I'm like, gosh, I sure miss the live aspect of it all. But Ty, for this next portion of the show is the part where I ask the same questions to all the comics I've ever interviewed. There's like 600 interviews alone on my YouTube channel. And with that being said, Ty, what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy?
Ooh. I was at a point in my life where I was kind of bored, where I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I had a job that paid well, had benefits, um, pretty regular things going on, and I just felt like I wasn't doing enough. And I was dating this girl. Her dad did stand up. I saw him perform, and I was like, "Hey, I could do that." So I started looking up different places I can do open mics at, and I ended up going to Jokes and Notes. It's a venue that was in Chicago. It's not around anymore, but I went there, and it was it was a good experience for a first time. My second time there wasn't as good, but the first time was good, and I just caught the bug, as they say. And I
And
wasn't like a stand up comedy fan. I wasn't the type of person to like know about George Carlin's and the this and the that's and know the past and the future and of stand up comedy. I was just like, hey, it's performance art. I'm no stranger to the stage, so I might as well.
indeed, most definitely. And what was it feeling like when you first performed stand-up?
It was different. Like I've been on stage for like talent shows and for school recitals or things like that, but going on stage to do stand up, I didn't have anything prepared. I just was watching different stand up specials like Hannibal Burris and Eddie Murphy. And I was like, I'm gonna go up and be funny.
Indeed, most definitely. And what are your favorite comedy specials and comedy record albums?
Ooh, all right. Favorite specials: Killing Them Softly by Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy Raw, mm, 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 Lil Rel Relevant, um, let me think. uh, Hannibal Burris Animal Furnace, and I think that's about it. Those
Indeed,
and Love at the Store, Gerard Carmichael.
awesome. And if you can go on, those guys have been on TV and film, and I want to know what your favorite sitcom sketch shows and comedy films are.
Let's see, sitcoms. Carmichael Show, Martin, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, sitcom. I know there's more. Becker was one of my favorite sitcoms. Hmm. What's the other option? Sketch shows. In Living Color, Mad TV. Um, at one point, what was it? The Ben Stiller Show. That was pretty good.
In,
And Kids at the Store. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Kids at the Store and Whitest Kids You Know. Those.
indeed, and that's a pretty cool show too. Like I got to interview the guy Timmy Williams from The Whitest Kids, and he was such a cool guy. Pretty fantastic stuff. And let's see here, if you can go on tour with any comedian locally and internationally known, which comedians would you like to go on tour with?
Ooh, that is a good question. Now I really got to think. Who would I go on tour with? Cat Williams. I go on tour with Cat Williams.
Indeed, and locally,
Locally, who do I know locally that I would go on tour with? Hmm. Calvin Evans.
Awesome. And if you can get roasted by five comedians, past and present, which comedians would like to get roasted by?
Whew. Past and present. I've been roasted by a lot of comics because I'm not a very good roaster. So when I'm in a room and I kind of, because I'm tall, I got the long hair. Sometimes my beard is bigger, sometimes it's shorter. So like I'm always picked on. But let me see, who would I? I would like to be roasted by Eddie Murphy.
Indeed. And four more.
Four more. All right, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, um, Kevin Hart. I know he'll go in, and Dave Chappelle. I met him before, but he was super nice. I want to see like what a little bit of like jab to be. No, Donnell Rawlings. I would like to be roasted by Donnell Rawlings.
Indeed. And what do you see your comedy journey in the next 5 years?
Ooh, probably sketch, acting, voiceover work, anything. Honestly, I can do it all, so I might as well get into it all. And in 5 years, that's a good amount of time to have to get my foot in the door.
Indeed. You mentioned that you want to do acting and sketches and stuff. And which other forms of comedy would you like to venture off into, like improv, directing, and etc.?
Directing. I'm good on improv. I've done it. I've tried it. It's not my thing. I could use it to develop the skill, but I'm not doing yes and to nobody.
Indeed. Same here. Same here. And let's see here. What is your favorite joke a comic has written?
Ooh, my favorite joke a comic has written. Calvin Evans has a joke about Bane and Batman, and it has to do with the monologue of when he's like, "Oh, you think you were born in the darkness?" He's like, "You think you just adopted the darkness? I've been born in it, molded in it." He has one of those jokes, and I think that was like my favorite joke I've ever heard, and made me want to like get into comedy.
Indeed. Most definitely. And let's see here. What experience would you like your audience to take with them after your set is over?
Um, that it was new. Like I want them to have a refreshed feeling. I don't want them to like be beaten down by all these old topics about how they feel about the president or how they feel about um, just what's going on right now with the pandemic and whatnot. I want them to come out and be like, "Hey, this was interesting. This is something I didn't expect to hear, and something I probably needed."
Indeed, most definitely. And for the next portion, Ty is where you nominate the next guest on my show is for the stand up speakeasy, and so it's like it's our secret society of stand up comics. It's our prohibition, our roaring 20s. And so with that being said, Ty, which comics in the Chicago area would you like to see as my next guest on the stand up speakeasy?
Ooh, let me think. Who do I think? My boy Christian Royce. Um, Christian Royce. Yes, Nitra. Yeah, Nitra. Miss already. Yeah, and hmm, who else is hilarious? Marilee.
Awesome, fantastic. And I might need your help on the spelling of everyone's names, and so I can reach out to the right folks because sometimes I misspell their names and reach out to the wrong people. So, with that
Okay.
being said, Ty, thank you so much for being my guest today, and I put all your social media information on the bottom, and so hopefully I get you some more likes and followers, and and I also put your Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle on there so that way you can get paid during the pandemic because I know a lot of the clubs are shut down and I want to put funds in your pockets and all that good stuff and during
Yes.
this time.
No hard. Thank you.
You're welcome, indeed, Ty. And are there any final words you'd like to give out to the watchers at home?
Hey, be yourself, and also donate. please, I need it. I also do video game streaming. I don't really do it on Twitch. I do it on Facebook Gaming. The link is on the bottom, scrolling past right now at your mama's fade. Hey, come check me out. You know, and donate because I'm poor. I'm very poor.
Indeed, help the man, and it's on the bottom too, and you can donate that way too. So that way it's easier to just click and point and donate. So awesome! Thank you so much, Ty, for being my guest today, and it means a lot to me. And I look forward to seeing you in October when I go out there and visit. And you be safe out there and stay warm in Chicago. And I'll see you in October.
All right.
Awesome. Be well, Ty, and for everyone else, be well, wear a mask, and take care of each other. And